Go ahead.
So again, I started running big boards, but it's been a long time, and Chip does this a heck of a lot more than I do. I mean, how far do you really need on spacing? I mean, do you, on certain days, is there conditions that cause you to put them farther apart?
Yeah, depending on the wave condition and stuff, or if you're crabbing a little bit, we're going pretty good downwind right now, so stuff's pulling pretty straight. But if we were trying to trough it and they wanted it in the troughs, then you got to spread things out a little farther, just so you don't get tangles. It's all trying to keep out tangles, but these bandits run pretty true and steady.
Because it may be a different boat and a different game. Tangles are still a dirty word. It's 4 letters. So unlike my deal, we're going to hook this up with a rubber band, just doing a half hitch. We're going to leave that thing whole, and then we're actually going to put the release.
Oh, are we going to do this?
We might.
You were unprepared.
I'm not unprepared. That's Captain Chaos over here. Thanks, sir. So then, take our good old snap here, or a little release, and we're going to put that right in there like that. So not that we would ever catch white bass, but if we did, that rubber band's going to stretch out like that, and we don't have to try to pull that little fish out of that release.
I have never seen you catch a white bass, ever. Ever. It's always walleye.
Just so you know, camera guy is getting a raise. So this is kind of like a musical chairs thing. Whether you have a release pop or you're catching fish, you're just going to kind of next man up and keep sliding them down. And that's why it's really important that you don't crank right away, right? You want that fish to pull out of the spread, because now our leads are all off from what they were 5 minutes ago even.
Yeah, that's the whole concept behind all this stuff. When you get a fish on, pops off the line, it drops back, so it comes over all your inside lines and hopefully doesn't tangle. If everything works right in theory, which usually does, but sometimes if you crank too soon, that plug will dive down, especially when it plugs, and it just grabs all your inside lines and wads them up.
So the rigging is really important here to be efficient. There's a lot of different ways you can do this, but Chip on his boat does very similar to what I do. He's got a 6mm bead, and that's simply just a little bit of identification, but to keep that terminal tackle from going into the rod tip, which is going to either groove and or crack it. So that's kind of like the stopper there, because people like, for whatever reason, to keep reeling into the rod tip. And right now we're running 2-ounce weights on one side. Now tomorrow we may not be this afternoon. So he's basically just got an inline sinker like you've seen us use with the crawler harnesses, but he can snap that in and out. So on the back side of that, we've got a snap swivel. So all we do is just a couple snaps, take that off, and we can hook that right back up, and we can hook this to a jet rod or just a simple leader like we're using with the clean lines, as we call it, or just straight crankbait. The big thing is you have to have something that's adjustable so you don't have to cut and retie as you switch things out throughout the day. It just makes it a lot faster and a lot more efficient, and that's what successful trolling is all about. Yeah. So Chip, I guess this is a good explanation of not selling out too quick, because we kind of got some things going that's similar right out of the gate. But you've chartered enough, just like me when you're guiding, not to sell out, because now we've got our deeper lines going, even though the higher stuff was going.
Yeah. Well, I was just kind of noticing, it's still most of our bites are on our outside lines, so those deeper lines are working their way out. Now we're getting bites on them. I don't know if it's
so when it's like this
or farther away from the boat.
I was going to say, will you ever let that board out even farther? I know you don't run them out as far as some of those guys.
I don't like to when it's kind of bouncy, especially when we're going downwind, because then the main line drags too much in the water and hangs back and kind of screws up.
Inside.
Oh yeah. Oh,
you want the double on this or that?
You just let go.
Oh, never mind.
He gone.
Just really healthy fish, man. La-di-da-di, who come to the party? Not Slick Rick, but we leaving with somebody.
Keep reeling, keep reeling. Oh!
Coming back.
Flying objects. And that's why we like a long-handled net. Another just really, really healthy fish. That one was on a little pink panties variation. But again, deep lines are starting to go. What was that? We just missed one.
This is why I like running braid on my main line on the big boards. We're running a lot longer leads. Sometimes we're at 130, 140 leads. If we're running mono, you can't really tell what's going on but we had a release on here, so I don't know if there's weeds or something. But I can pull back, and you can see the rod tip, it's just jiggling. You can see that plug working because there's no stretch with the braid. So now I know it's clean. I can just go right to the rubber band and set it again, instead of reeling all the way in and checking it.
And braid's going to give you one other advantage. It's going to act as basically being able to get stuff deeper, because we're running like 11 thousandths compared to like 14 or 15 thousandths that I'd be running on my monofilament. So that's going to get these plugs down deeper, so you have to have less line out, or you can just get the depths that you wouldn't be able to with just mono. The disadvantage though, sometimes that no stretch is not going to be, there's no bungee in there. It's a lot easier to lose fish.
Holy crap, you're pulling a little drag almost.
Are we good? We're good with light?
Can't be a Ross fish.
Okay, you're probably gonna have to go back a little bit, Sarah, for him, just a little bit. A Ross fish?
Said it can't be one.
I'm not sure how to take that. Long and lean or angry? Which one? You know, sometimes I just feel like I'm being bullied out here. You know, they pile on me. I don't throw shade like that to anybody.
You don't deserve anything.
I don't deserve any of this, except for maybe Country Steve. Country Steve, maybe.
Uh-oh.
Oh, you farmed him. You were pumping the rod and pulling him sideways, and you farmed him. I watched you pump it. Country Steve Part 2 over here pumping the rod. Don't worry, we didn't need that one to eat. Don't worry, I didn't want dinner tonight.
Divers are starting to heat up.
Divers are going. We're running them on a 2 setting, I'll tell you. We're kind of showing Sarah here what a diver bite looks like, because they aren't really hammering them, are they? They're doubled over. So we'll show you a little cutaway here of what a diver looks like when it's down. The line enters the water 6 or 7 feet from the boat, depending on your setup, and it's going to be entering right in there. Now when you get the fish on, that line is going to be out of the water farther up as that angle just changes. Chip's going to give me a little scoop on the Silver Streak Mini. The minis have been the deal on the divers. Well, that's our smallest fish. Big or small, we love them all. Ooh, went right through. Thank you. So as you're letting these divers out, you can hear the clicker. You want to put the clicker on. You don't want to put those down too fast or they're going to spin. And the other thing you want is, we've got some Burt's Custom Tackle tube holders, which are nice because you can bring them up, but you want that rod down. You want that line angle as close to the water as possible, because you're going to get more diving depth, and you're also going to be able to see those strikes better and keep a tight line as it's released. This is over here eating some Scooby snacks. Forgot my chicken. You guys watched me eat chicken through the years. Little combo action. Fish?
No, I think it just popped in the waves. There's a fish on your rod, but of course right in the middle of the frickin' turn.
Right place, right time. We were attempting to do a hard turn, get back on the fish, and the weighted one went again. 120.
Try to get us finished turning here.
Feeling a lot more comfortable than it was this morning.
Yeah. I just checked, the wind is down quite a bit from this morning.
10. There we go, connection. That's a couple we've taken on that one now. Easy,
Careful.
Easy, Timmy. Look at him flaring his gills like he's a cobra. Easy, Timmy.
He wants a piece of you.
Another healthy fish.
Because I thought I was getting lunch, and
Next thing this sees is going to be grease, going to the grease pit. You know, when you're running big boards or inline, you know, not like we're doing on my boat, you're gonna want a little bit different rod. You don't have to have fancy stuff. Now, Chip's got really nice Shimano Tellura rods, which are really durable and last a long time, but you just want a simple deal. These are 7-foot medium lights. And unlike my boat where I'm using 8.5-foot rods, because that actually kind of is the mast system to keep the lines out of the water, this is basically just for fighting the fish. So you want them a little bit shorter so you're not getting tangled up, everything's kind of a little more in line, and you want exactly the same rod. So whichever one you choose, make sure it's all the same, because you can see here, that's part of the reason we have our strike detection. And any taller and they're just gonna get tangled up. So something like the 7-foot medium lights, maybe medium Telluras, are a really good choice when you're running big boards and not inline boards like I run on my personal boat.
One big thing when you're spoon fishing is your terminal tackle. What I like to do when I run my spoons is I run just a snap at the spoon end. What that does, it keeps it lightweight, lets that spoon work back and forth a lot farther and a lot faster action. And I put my swivel at the end of my 6-foot leader at the other end. So I have one ball bearing in there, but I keep the spoon end light, lets that spoon work a lot more, gives you a wider speed range.
What we got going on there, girl?
Oh, we're at 86. Just chilling.
Okay.
Chilling.
Okay.
I don't know what I got.
No. I'm just gonna tell you, we got Country Steve. You've seen Country Steve on the channel. You could become Country Sara if you farm this. I mean, she rides horses. I mean, it's just fitting. But if you really watch how Country Steve got his name, it's probably.
You don't want to be Country Sara.
No.
I don't think I want to. I've heard about this Country Steve guy.
Yeah.
Well, why don't you go back and watch that video in the springtime with us, and you'll see how Country Steve really got his name. It doesn't have anything to do with horses. He's got chin hook. That's what happened on this one.
Yeah.
Chin it to win it like Iser, man.
Spinning. He's like, I'm seasick.
Yeah, he's drunk. I think this is the first one on this.
This one?
Yeah, first catch anyhow.
Yeah, that's the first one on the Demon.
Gotta get pictures of that.
She's out already. Careful.
She survived the name of Country Sara. As the sun came up, the bite and the fish had gotten a little bit smaller and slower, but we're still doing it. Let Chipper get that out. Move our little Lakewood case. And we got the 2 coolers set up going today. Chip was so confident, and we're doing it. We're doing it well.